Hello, my name is Carwyn Jones, and I'm hosting a series of podcasts where we talk to the movers and shakers in the Welsh economy. People who run businesses, people who make policy, and we'll be asking them what their view is of the future of their businesses and of Wales. I'm joined today by Mark Powney, the Managing Director of Business News Wales. Mark, you're very welcome today.
Thank you, Carwyn.
Now, Mark, one of the things we like to do is to find out a bit more about the person who is joining us. Tell us a bit about your background, your business background, and what you're doing today.
I'm from Pembrokeshire in West Wales. Grew up in Hakin, Milford Haven. In terms of where I started in business, my goodness, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, I was selling my lunch boxes in school. I think that's where it probably started from. So I think the natural instinct, that entrepreneurial instinct, whatever that is, I think was always there. I think it really started probably 12, 13 years ago. I launched the first job board in Wales, or certainly one of the first job boards in Wales. This was a time when we were all on dial-up, so nobody was using the internet, so probably a little bit naive, but certainly ahead of the curve. Struggled, lots of challenges, but got extremely lucky and had an offer for that product and sold it. And I suppose not looked back since, really. Moved on then to another business, which was a print-based business. So that was probably my first business within real publishing. And lost a lot. Credit crunch come in, all our advertisers, if you like, were in the service sector. And this was a time when all the call centres, particularly in Cardiff, just disappeared. From there, I actually then took on some freelance projects. So a little role within Welsh Government, helped them to build their careers website. Same with Cardiff Council. And then moved into a digital agency in Wales called Golly Slater, and very much came in to help them move their print revenues online, particularly in recruitment. So this is when it was, I think, between £5,000 and £10,000 for a full page advert in the local newspaper, and £200 for a job online. And the jobs online were delivering more return on investment. So it was a really challenging time. From there, I think I got itchy feet. I think once you start a business, you can never then work within an organisation, or it's difficult. So I set up my original company called Ecom, which is a digital agency for the recruitment technology space, and that still exists. And from there, we started experimenting in publishing and built and sold 3 or 4 products in the HR market, in the IT asset management industry. And then about 5 years ago, we got approached to launch Business News Wales.
So, Mark, you're now the Managing Director of Business News Wales. Tell us more about Business News Wales and what it is.
Okay, so Business News Wales is what it says on the tin. It's a news product for the business community in Wales. We cover, I think it's now 12 different industries, 20 different regions, lots of business topics. In terms of audience, we've now got just over 20,000 daily newsletter subscribers. We're averaging on the site anywhere between 6 and 15,000 unique users each day. Page views, page impressions, that's in the hundreds of thousands into the millions, but we don't use that as a metric to measure. Ultimately, we carry business news. Now, we're a little bit different in the sense that our advertising model, if you want to call it that, is based on collaboration. We collaborate with a lot of different organisations and a lot of different industries. We look at their objectives, and it's not always a straightforward advertising sell. It's a communication sell. These organisations have got messages which they need to get out into the public domain. We help them to disseminate that information, make it user-friendly to read.
So it would. It sounds to me as if you're talking about a tailored service. Different advertisers. Yeah,
well, our overall solution kind of fits everybody, but everybody's got individual, unique needs. So
made to measure.
Yes. Okay.
Now, Business News Wales is just over 4 years old. Where do you think the gaps in the market are that you can fill?
Wow, I mean, they're everywhere. The world of communication is changing very, very quickly. The way that we read information as readers today has changed in just the last 2 or 3 years. I think the gap in the market is to provide an independent news product which has got no bias. We carry the fact to the user. And in a business product, that's very easy to do because all our information is factual based. In a consumer product, which we've got ambitions to move into, we're looking at what is journalism? What do people want to read? And I think if you look at things like Brexit as a good example, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's a journalist. Everybody knows, or apparently knows, what they're talking about. And the reason I think you've got so much confusion is you read one site, it gives you one message. You read another, it gives you another message. There is no central trusted resource which people can rely on for genuine, factual information.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Reliability is a real issue now for people. Well, my children say to me, well, what should we believe? I'd say to them, if it's on TV, then you can generally believe it, because there are editorial guidelines the BBC and others have to follow. It's the same with the business community. People have said to me, we'd like to have a resource, somewhere we can go to, where we can find out what's happening, completely straight in our own area and across Wales. We don't mind having the odd article with some views on it, as long as it's not politics. And that's something certainly that I've noticed. I'd noticed it before I met you, that existed in the market. That just wasn't there. That information resource. And you mentioned yourself that the world is changing very quickly. What challenges do you think you'll have to face over the next few years?
I think it's probably the evolution of the buyer of our service. Ultimately, if you look at the general makeup of directors, a lot of them, particularly in the public service, are over a certain age. If that's the right thing to say, and their skill sets are based on an environment of 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. A lot of people will buy media still on reach. And not on actual click-throughs. And
when you say on reach, what do you mean?
So for example, I can say that the reach of Business News Wales is all of our social media follows. It's all the people who open the product, and you can come up with a very, very impressive figure. When you then start comparing that with click-through rates and actual reader statistics, it's a very smaller figure, but that's the real figure. Trying to get that information and that understanding over to people who have historically bought media in a different way is challenging. That's probably our biggest challenge. I think the other is the communications industry in general. I think if you compare Cardiff as our capital city with, for example, Birmingham, Manchester, London, those cities have been, the media infrastructure in those cities has been very diverse. Lots of different options, lots of competition. Cardiff has pretty much grown up with one newspaper group over the last 100 years, and an industry is built around that. It's extremely expensive sometimes to generate communications. The final challenge, I think, is a lot of organisations, a lot of agencies are unprepared to pay for content. In fact, some people have often said to us that we should be disgraced. It's you're charging people to write the news. We distribute the news. And I think if you look at the downhill in journalism at the moment, new models have got to come out of that. We're communicating the information from that organisation to the target audience they want to reach. We're putting no spin on it. We're a direct model. And that's what we charge for. But getting the buying community to buy into that process and that model is probably our biggest challenge.
Okay, what do you think you need to do to meet that challenge?
Educate the market and prove our service. At this moment in time, I think we've got 63 clients on our books throughout Wales, organisations of all sorts. We very rarely lose a client. Once they have that experience and they then look at their spend and they compare that with the data that we provide them in terms of the analytics, the return on investment is clear. That's the easiest way for us to do that. But we've got there's a lot of media organisations in Cardiff, and there's a lot of relationships which are historical, and fully respect that, of course. But the challenge for us is to try and work with those organisations and show them there is another way of communicating their message.
So you've been here for 4 years, looking now to the future. What's the plan for the next 5 years?
We've got a baby on the way, so a little mini Mark is about to land.
That's in the business plan. Yes.
It has to be in the business plan, unfortunately. I think my life's going to change a little bit in September. Yeah. On the bigger scale, we're just going through another investment round. We're bringing in some experienced people, yourself as a good example. We've got 2 new investors which are about to join our board. These are people who can add real value to the company. the team we've got in here, we've got Rachel, Chris. They've been in this business now for 5, 6, 7 years. We're a close unit. We understand each other very, very well, and we understand the market we're in very well. So I think it's building on the nucleus that we've got here now and bringing in talent. I was always brought up with the saying that the smartest person in the room is the person who understands who the smartest person is. And that very much is my position as the MD, is to bring in talent. We're not the finished article, but we're in a very, very, very good position to, I think, make a big difference to Wales.
Mark, one of the things I've noticed is that you produce news for the whole of Wales, but also you are working to ensure that different regions of Wales get the information they need about businesses in their own area. That approach, of course, is something that I think is pretty unique in Wales. What led you along those lines?
I think there's a very big gap in the market. If you look at the regions of Wales, so we've got Pembrokeshire Edition is live pretty much. The gap in the market in Pembrokeshire is if you, number one, look at the local authorities and the challenges they have in reaching the business community, it's evident. If you then, on the flip side, look at the business community, these are often run by business clubs, networking clubs. A lot of them have got long-standing relationships. They're old boys networks. They're sometimes not gender inclusive, age inclusive, and their budgets are spent on running those clubs. So by putting a business news product on that in the region, we think we've created a very, very good case for economic uplift and enhancing digital connectivity. Businesses in a lot of regions don't understand what's on their own doorstep, never mind in other areas of Wales. And the same is for our sectors. We've got a manufacturing section, transport section, life sciences section, all going live shortly. And the same, the people within those industries don't really understand what's going on in their own industry. And, we're passionate about Wales. And a good example of where we're really, really looking to contribute is a lot of the things we're doing is just not revenue based. There's no revenue sometimes in doing what we're doing, but it keeps us going. We're very passionate about Wales and we're keen to make a difference. As our shareholders keep reminding me, Mark, keep focused on the commercial side of the business, but I've also got to balance that with developing a really good product, and that's something we're focused on doing.
Mark Powney, Managing Director of Business News Wales, thank you for joining us today, and good luck for the future.
Thank you.